Hey guys, happy March. It is so weird that it is officially March. I felt like January and February were so long, but now that I'm looking back at them, I feel like this year is flying by so quickly. So I don't know, it's a weird feeling, but today I'm going to share my February favorites with you guys. I loved a bunch of products during the month of February that I can't wait to talk about. I love chatting about just like my absolute favorite products. I just filmed a video on products that didn't work for me, so if you want to see my product fails, I'll link that video in the description box below. So I did purchase the Colourpop It's My Pleasure palette, and I am so happy that I bought this. This is such a beautiful palette, and I've gotten so much use out of it. I think it retails for $12, possibly $14. I'll put the price for you guys on the screen, but it's such a beautiful palette. If you love pinks and you love purples, this one is going to be a great option for you. It comes with 9 shadows, but I really feel like you can get so many different looks just using this palette. You can get a completely purple look, a completely pink look. You can mix this with other palettes and just add like a pop of color, and I really enjoy it. It's fun to use. The shadows work really well. I will say that some of you guys have left me comments saying that some of your shadows are a little bit patchy and they don't blend that well. So it might be that there are some inconsistencies, but I also think shadows like this shade right here, Sleeper, tend to be a little bit more patchy and you have to work a little bit harder to blend them. I don't find that mine's noticeably patchy, but just keep that in mind. When you do use this palette, you're not going to get like a 2-minute eye look. It usually takes a little extra blending, so I wouldn't recommend using it on days when you're in like a big hurry, because I do find that it takes me a little extra time, but I do really enjoy it. It is so much fun. I've also been using it with the Dominique Cosmetics Berries and Cream palette, and I have talked about this on my channel, so I won't spend too much time on it. I think that I've swatched this in like so many recent videos lately because I just can't stop raving about this palette, but I think that it goes so well with the Colourpop It's My Pleasure palette, but I also love using this one on its own. Today I wore this blue shade in the outer corner and in the crease, and then I went in with one of the shades from It's My Pleasure and just placed it all over the lid. But for a blue, this is so blendable, so rich and gorgeous, and it's not patchy. It doesn't skip on the eyes. I love that there are like some deep shades in here, but the thing about this formula is that it's so easy to work with, even when you go in with like this blue or this like red toned brown, and even the black. It just blends out really easily and looks really, really beautiful on the eyes. So I enjoy this palette so much. Again, I just think it's fun to use. It's easy to use. And the other day we were kind of in a hurry, but I wanted to do like a pink, an intense pink berry look. For me, eyeshadow is just fun, so if I'm in the mood to do like a pink eyeshadow look, it doesn't really matter where we're going, I'll just do it. So I wanted to do it that day. We were kind of in a hurry, but I knew that if I reached for this palette, I could get the look really quickly, and it honestly took me like 6 minutes to create a pretty intense like raspberry smoky eye. So I really enjoy this palette as a whole. Again, I know that I've talked about it so much on my channel, but the quality is amazing, and if you break this palette down price per gram, which I know is not important to everybody, it's actually insanely affordable for how much product you get in here. So I do recommend checking this one out or the It's My Pleasure palette. They work really well together, or of course you can use them on their own. Let me share a rediscovered favorite. So I've been doing my everyday makeup drawer series. I'm currently doing it like bi-monthly. Whenever I put these in my drawer, I just fall in love with them all over again. They are the Wet n Wild MegaGlo highlighting powders. I have 4 different shades and I used all 4 of them. I actually took out highlighters that I typically wear, like my Becca highlighters, and replace them with these just so I made sure to focus on using them. And I'm so glad I did because I just love these. The formula is so beautiful. It's so smooth. I just find that it almost melts into the skin. It's very intense and shiny and gorgeous, and they're super, super affordable. I think they're like $5 each, and a lot of times you can get Wet n Wild on sale at the drugstore. So if you guys have not tried these out, I totally recommend it. They're pretty intense highlighters. I don't find them to be super, super subtle on the skin. Maybe if you go in with like a very light layer, but in general, they give me more of like a wet look. And after trying like the Anastasia Ambrisi highlighter and not necessarily loving it, and then going back and trying these, I just wonder why I spend so much on highlighters when there are so many good affordable options. I love these. They're like $5. They perform so well and they look really beautiful. So I will definitely be using these more often. I have 2 brow products to talk about in today's video. So I've been talking about the Colourpop Brow Boss Gel on my channel for a while at this point. Ever since I tried it, I just fell in love with it. I really haven't used anything else. And a bunch of you guys were telling me to try out the tinted brow gel. So I did pick up dark dark brown, and I love it so much. You guys, I have the most sparse brows in the entire world, and oh, this one's looking a little bit patchy. That's what happens when you have no brow hair and you basically have to try to draw it on. It is a difficult process, and it's not something that I love doing. Like, I love sitting down and doing my eyeshadow. I do not love sitting down and doing my brows. I always dread it because brows escalate so quickly. All of a sudden they're looking like really natural and fluffy, and then the next thing you know, they're like super intense and squared off and blocky. If you have very sparse brows, this one's going to be a great option because it is a waxy texture and it doesn't have fibers in it or anything like that, but it makes my brows look more voluminous than fiber brow gels. I will even wear this on days when I don't fill in my brows with a brow pencil and just like quickly run this through my brows, and all of a sudden they look more intense and dramatic in a good way because they are so sparse and they're a little bit lighter than like my hair color. They just kind of disappear when I'm not wearing any makeup. So I love using this because it just helps to shape my face, fill them in a little bit, and I'm really in love with this. So if you guys have tried the clear one and you're looking for just something a little extra, I would recommend the tinted brow gel. Okay, so I did get this product in PR. This video is not sponsored, but it is something that I've been testing out for about 2 months. I was trying to get the hang of it, and I wasn't sure how I felt about it because I've never tried anything like this, but I can safely say at this point that I really do like it. It is the Urban Decay Brow Blade. So it is a dual-ended pencil. One side is a regular brow pencil, which is really nice. I do like the texture of this one. It's a little bit softer, so it goes on really easily, and I don't find that I need a lot of the brow pencil to fill in my brows. Some brow pencils are a little bit waxy, so I feel like I have to keep applying them and then combing them out. This one is very soft and it's very pigmented, so a little bit goes a very long way. But what sets this pencil apart is that the other side, instead of being a spoolie, it's essentially a brush tip liquid liner, but you can use it to fill in your brows. So I just figured that my brows would look like I pretty much markered them onto my face if I used this product. And the first few times they did look like that for sure, but I find that the key is to fill them in, at least for me personally, with the pencil side or any pencil, and then go in where my brows are a little bit more sparse or it doesn't look like I have brow hairs, and use the marker to just lightly draw very, very subtle strokes. Okay, let me get close to the mirror for a second and show you guys. I don't know if you guys can tell the difference, but it just very, very subtly fills in any sparse areas, but it doesn't look like you drew hair onto your face. It really blends into your natural brow hairs so well. I just find that the more I use it, the more I love it. I think it's really interesting, and it's definitely a different technique than using a brow pencil, and you can get more of a precise application when you use like this brush tip liner side. So I've really been enjoying it. I use the pencil in dark drapes. I don't find it to be waterproof. I don't know that it claims to be waterproof. Oh yeah, it does. It says ink stain and waterproof pencil, and then there's a crayon waterproof pencil. I don't find the product is waterproof. If I rub my brows, it will come off, and I feel like when I use this product alone, my brows look a little bit oily by the end of the day. I don't know if you guys get oily in that area, but I do, and it doesn't necessarily last as well as other brow products. So that's definitely a con, but I just find it to be an interesting product. I definitely use it in combination with other products. If I just have like a sparse area, it's easy to fill it in with this product. So I just wanted to share my thoughts on it because I have been using it for like 2 months at this point. Okay, so this month I have been using the E.L.F. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. I have the shade Light Sand, which works pretty well for me. It's a little bit light, but I find that it really brightens up the under eye area, and I am really impressed by this concealer. It works so well. If you did not tell me that it was E.L.F., I would assume that it was a high-end brand. It gives really, really good coverage, it blends out really nicely, and it stays in place really well throughout the day. It definitely does not crease on me horribly. Now, all concealers crease. There is no such thing as a creaseless concealer for me because I have under eye wrinkles, but there are definitely concealers out there that crease way worse than other concealers, and I find that this one stays in place really well, and I just enjoy it. I think it looks really beautiful. It's like a nice soft matte finish under the eyes. It's not as dry as the Tarte Shape Tape or as hydrating as the Too Faced Born This Way. It's somewhere in the middle. The big con for me is that it is so messy. I don't know if you guys can tell, but the wand is just a complete mess. There's concealer everywhere. It's almost like leaking out of the packaging, and it's a con for me because I just don't like my makeup to be messy. I just prefer it to be like very neat, and every single time I use it, there's concealer all over the outer packaging. So it's not the end of the world, especially because it is $5, which is such a good deal, but I've really been enjoying it. I've been using it basically every single time I wear concealer. I also discovered the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Perfecting Powder during the month of February, and I was so impressed by this powder from the first time that I used it. It just makes your skin look really smooth and really beautiful, but the thing about this powder is it's so lightweight and so silky, and in my experience, very lightweight silky powders don't really do a whole lot for my oily skin. They don't really set anything into place. Everything will end up creasing. My skin will look so oily after a few hours, and I don't experience that with this powder at all. Now, it's not a completely like full coverage matte powder or anything like that, but it really does set your foundation into place so well, and it makes your skin look naturally beautiful. You don't look like you have a lot of powder on. You can't see like a dry, chalky layer. It just looks like your skin, and it does very slightly or very subtly blur the skin. I have 2 lip products, and then I also have a random product because I've been including random products at the end of these videos, just like one random product a month. But the 2 lip products that I've been loving are both glosses. The first one is a rediscovered favorite. It is the Bare Minerals Gen Nude Lip Gloss in the shade Must Have. It's such a beautiful like mauvey pink. It has a good amount of pigment to it, which I'm not typically a fan of pigmented lip glosses. I usually prefer something pretty sheer. But this just makes your lips look so shiny and glossy and beautiful, but at the same time, it's very, very comfortable. It's not a sticky gloss. It wears off nicely, and I find that even though it is pretty pigmented, I can get away with wearing it and reapplying it without a mirror, which is kind of the goal for me when it comes to lip gloss. I've also been loving my Fenty Beauty Gloss in the shade Fussy. This is somewhat new to my collection, but I knew this was going to be my favorite gloss. I just knew it because I love the original Fenty gloss, but that one is almost like slightly too red toned for me. I think it's really great and I love using it during the summer especially, but for it to be like my favorite gloss, it has to have a little bit of a pink undertone, but like the perfect pink undertone. It makes your lips look absolutely gorgeous, and I just love the Gloss Bomb formula so much. So I think I found my all-time favorite gloss. Before this, it was the Buxom Lip Gloss in Dolly, which I still love so much. That one's actually pretty similar to this Bare Minerals gloss, but I think I like the Fenty gloss a little bit more. You don't have to spend a lot of money, obviously, to get a good lip gloss. There are so many good drugstore lip glosses as well, but these are just the 2 that I've been wearing this month. So I wanted to finish up the video with a random favorite. I think every month I'll just include one random favorite. I don't like to include too many random favorites because honestly, I don't usually have that many, but I do have one to share with you guys this month. Last month, I mentioned a sleep app, which was so random, but a lot of you guys said you love using it, so that made me really happy. This month, I wanted to mention my Kindle. So I'm a big Audible fan. This video is not sponsored by Audible, of course, but I love Audible. I just feel like it provides the intellectual stimulation that I need because I don't usually make time in my day to read books. I'm not going to say I don't have the time because we all have time to do whatever we want to do. I just don't spend my time reading, but that's something I want to change. I think Audible's great because you can absorb so much information. Like if I didn't have Audible, I wouldn't have been able to read those like 15 books last year. And I know there's arguments about what's better for you, like listening, reading. It doesn't matter. As long as you're consuming the information, I think it's great. But I will say that I think listening to an Audible book is different than like actually physically reading. I think they're both beneficial. I just think they work your brain differently. So I do take in a lot of audiobooks, but I also want to read a lot of books this year as well. But I just thought the idea of a Kindle was really appealing because I could literally have so many books in this one small device. So I just decided to grab it. I've tried a Kindle in the past, like years and years ago. I wasn't really a big fan, but I wasn't really into reading at the time. And I've just been enjoying this so much. It's so much easier to read on a Kindle than it is on like an iPad or an iPhone. And I've been trying to limit the amount of time that I spend on a screen after like 8 p.m. because again, I'm just trying to, improve my sleep this year. The reason I kind of included it is for a selfish reason because I want to get your book recommendations. I just jump around to all different genres. I do like nonfiction, fiction, biographies, business, self-development. So if you guys have a book recommendation for me, I would love to hear from you. My family and I are going on a cruise in about a week, and I'm planning on reading like 3 books, maybe more. So if you guys have one that you really love, I would love to hear from you so I can download it and read it. But I just thought I would throw this out there. If reading is something that you want to do more, I definitely think that this is a great tool. Some people like having an actual physical book. That is my husband. I don't think he'll ever be on board with like an e-reader, even though he wants to. He just loves the feeling of a physical book. But if that's not something that really matters to you, you might really enjoy this. I just find that it really helps me read more, which I love. So that was a really long-winded explanation of why I love the Kindle, but thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comment section below which products you've been loving, and I'll see you very soon with a new video. Bye.